Cracking the code, finding California-specific legal knowledge for new practitioners. Law school teaches you to think like a lawyer, but it doesn't teach you how to actually practice law in California. There's a huge gap between understanding constitutional principles and knowing how to properly serve a motion in LA County Superior Court. If you're a third-year student planning to practice in California, you need to bridge this gap quickly. Knowing where to find practical state-specific guidance can make the difference between looking like you know what you're doing and looking completely lost on day one. California legal practice has its own world of rules, procedures, and customs that can trip up even the smartest new attorneys. The state's unique procedural requirements, local court rules, and practice standards aren't covered in your standard law school classes. The good news? There are specific resources designed to help practitioners navigate these waters without drowning. Why California is its own beast. California basically operates as its own legal universe. The state has developed tons of procedural rules that are totally different from federal practice or other states. California's discovery rules, for example, have specific notice requirements and timing rules that don't exist anywhere else. The state's approach to motion practice, jury instructions, and even basic pleading requirements can catch newcomers completely off guard. Local court rules make things even more complicated. What works in San Francisco Superior Court might get rejected in Orange County. Each court has its own preferences for formatting, filing procedures, and scheduling. Some courts want specific cover sheets, others have weird local rules about discovery disputes, and many have unwritten customs that experienced lawyers know by heart, but nobody tells the new people. California's actual laws are also quirky in ways that matter for day-to-day practice. The state's approach to employment law, real estate deals, and business formations often works totally differently from the general principles you learned in law school. These differences aren't just academic, they matter enormously when you're actually trying to help clients. Resources that actually help. California Practice Guides. The best resource for California-specific practice guidance comes from dedicated practice guides that break down complicated procedures into steps you can actually follow. These guides organize everything by practice area and give you step-by-step instructions for common tasks. They include sample pleadings, checklists, and practical tips that can save you hours of confused research. Practice guides are great because they explain not just what the law says you have to do, but how lawyers actually do it in real life. They bridge the gap between theory and practice, showing you exactly how to draft a motion for summary judgment or prep for a deposition under California rules. Continuing Education of the Bar, CEB. CEB is the most established source for California-specific practical guidance. CEB materials combine legal analysis with practical application, giving you detailed how-to guidance for everything from basic civil procedure to specialized stuff like probate or employment law. CEB resources include California legal news, primary law, practice guides, workflows, how-to guides, standard documents, strategy notes, charts, and checklists, and continuing legal education videos imbued with the knowledge and experience of the over 1,200 active California attorneys and sitting judges that comprise CEB's contributing community. What makes CEB really valuable is that it focuses on practical application rather than just theory. Their materials are written by practicing California attorneys who get the real-world challenges of actually doing this stuff within the state's unique framework. Local Bar Association resources. California's county and specialty bar associations offer tons of practical guidance through classes, practice sections, and mentor programs. The LA County Bar, San Francisco Bar, and other regional organizations regularly run workshops on California-specific practice issues. Many bar associations keep practice guides, sample document libraries, and mentorship programs specifically designed to help new lawyers figure out local requirements. These resources often include insights into local court preferences and unwritten rules that can make a huge difference in how effective you are. Modern resources that make life easier. Online practice communities. California lawyers have built some really solid online communities where attorneys share practical guidance and war stories. These forums often give you real-time answers to specific practice questions and insights into how courts are handling particular types of cases or interpreting new rules. Professional networking platforms have made it way easier for new lawyers to connect with experienced California attorneys who can help with practice-specific questions. Lots of seasoned practitioners are happy to share insights about effective strategies and common mistakes to avoid. Court websites and electronic resources. California courts have gotten much better with their online resources recently. Most superior courts have websites with local rules, forms, and practice guides. These resources often include specific guidance on e-filing requirements, fee schedules, and what individual courts prefer procedurally. The California courts website has statewide resources including jury instructions, forms, and procedural guides that reflect current practice standards. These official resources make sure you're working with the most up-to-date requirements. How to build your knowledge base smart. Start with the basics. New lawyers should focus first on mastering fundamental California procedures that apply across practice areas. This means understanding California's unique approach to discovery, motion practice, and case management. Getting solid with these basics gives you a foundation for more specialized knowledge later. Dive deep into your practice area. Once you've got core procedures down, go deep into California-specific requirements for whatever area you want to practice in. Employment law in California works under different rules than employment law anywhere else. Real estate deals follow California-specific procedures and requirements. Each practice area has its own world of practical knowledge you need to learn. Learn the local stuff. Spend time understanding the specific requirements and preferences of courts where you'll be practicing regularly. This includes not just the written local rules, but also the unwritten customs and preferences that influence day-to-day practice. Actually using this stuff. Make your own practice guides. Smart lawyers often create their own practice guides based on their experiences and the resources they found most helpful. These personal guides include checklists, sample documents, and procedural notes tailored to their specific practice areas and the courts they work in most. Build relationships with experienced lawyers. Mentorship relationships and professional connections give you access to practical knowledge that you can't find in any book or online resource. Experienced lawyers can share insights about effective strategies, what different courts prefer, and common mistakes that new attorneys should avoid. Stay current with changes. California law and procedure change constantly. Successful lawyers develop systems for staying current with changes that affect their practice areas. This means subscribing to relevant updates, going to continuing education programs, and joining professional organizations that track new developments. The bottom line. The key to successfully accessing California-specific practical knowledge is developing a systematic approach to learning and staying current. New lawyers who invest time in understanding California's unique legal landscape and building relationships with experienced attorneys set themselves up for success. The jump from law school to California practice doesn't have to be terrifying. With the right resources and strategies, new attorneys can quickly develop the practical knowledge they need to actually help their clients and build successful careers in California's crazy legal environment. The time you invest in learning California-specific practical knowledge pays off throughout your entire legal career. Lawyers who understand the state's unique requirements and know where to find practical guidance can focus on serving their clients rather than panicking about procedural stuff they should have learned months ago. Don't waste time reinventing the wheel. With CEB's California-specific legal resources, you'll discover practical support to tackle real legal tasks and build skills that set you apart in the California market. Read more about the resources CEB makes available to all students, faculty, and staff at accredited California law schools today.